All right, we're live. Welcome, everybody.
Yeah, welcome everyone to the call. We're so glad everybody could be here this evening. I am Pro 7 Debbie Crowell out of Ocala, Florida, and I'm your host for this evening. It is October 20th, 2021. Think Like a Pro training. We're a group of elites who have been taking turns at hosting. We're all cross-line. And so we try and bring something different to the table. It's all going to be LifeVantage, but we all have different points of views or have different experiences or different people. And so that's what we want to do is bring information to you. And the rest of the team is Pro 7, Dr. Jean DeLucia, and Pro 8, Vandy and Sam Flake. And that's who kind of keeps us all herded together. We appreciate them. Pro 8, Kai Hayes, Pro 8, Sunny Balage, and Pro 9, Greg Deeker. So we're very grateful that we can come every week and bring something we can share for you, our stories, and especially when we have a guest like we do this evening. So I am very excited to who we're going to introduce tonight, because this man keeps us from being in so much trouble. And I don't know another way we can say that. If we don't watch ourselves, somebody has to go to work pretty hard. And I know as a new distributor, I didn't understand this. No one told me that. I was actually told something different. And it is very, very hard once you get a wagon going one direction to get that thing to turn around and come back another way. And so I'm very excited for each and every one of you distributors that are on tonight, but especially for our new distributors, because this is how we can make it a little bit easier for us. We're not have to unlearn something. We all have some amazing stories. Our lives have been changed, whether it was our personally, whether it was our customers or family, whether it's our dogs or our horses. We still have to choose right words. And I know it's very difficult to understand that we can't always say just exactly what we want to say, but it's very important to the company. And that's what tonight's about, is choosing the words and being able to tell our story compliantly. And this is going to be a powerful meeting. So I hope everybody's taking notes, and very, very excited that Eric Merchant is here with us. He is the Vice President of Compliance with LifeVantage. He pours information into the company and into us. So please take notes. There will be a Q&A at the end. We may run over just a little bit, but we want to make sure that everybody's questions get answered. So Eric, it is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Debbie. I appreciate that introduction. I'm excited to be here with one of my very favorite groups. Wow, what an opportunity. In all my time with LifeVantage, this has always been one of my favorite groups. From the very beginning, back in 2008, actually, in November, when we became a direct selling company. And then we officially launched in February. And then we had our first event in May, I believe, of that year. And wow, what an opportunity it was for everyone. I can remember people looking at the ABC primetime, myself included. I watched that and I said, if these things are true, we really have something here. How many of you have said the same thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's compliant. People can watch the ABC primetime. You can take people to pubmed.gov and have them do endless research, starting with NRF2 plus oxidative stress. Let them determine where that takes them from there, because they're going to be interested in all of that NRF2 oxidative stress results. There's going to be hundreds of results there for them to look at, and you can take them there and go through that exercise with them so that they can develop their own story. We've all lived with the mantra that nobody cares what you know, they care how much, they want to know how much you care. And that's how you show people that you care, is you might go quickly through your own personal story compliantly, but then take them to a place where they can discover answers or solutions to their own story compliantly. Again, you go with NRF2, and I say NRF2 from the company. We cannot have you start out with Protandem. We would suggest you start out with Nerf 2. Some of you might prefer to go with Protandem and oxidative stress. That's fine. That's not nearly as important. Nerf 2 or Protandem and oxidative stress, that is just important that that's as far as you go. Because after that, they need to go where they want to go and discover what it is they're interested in. And then they're going to duplicate just what you did, and you can both be compliant. Does that make sense? So that's one of the, if I were to choose something that would help everyone take advantage of this new revisiting the beginning successfully, that would be it. Showing you how to take people that are interested in that ABC primetime and doing research by taking them to PubMed. You have ABC, you have PubMed. The credibility doesn't get any better than that, right? And you can do all of that compliantly. Just let them discover their personal and true story, and then share, and then have their new prospects discover their own story. So I'm going to change it a little bit from telling your story to having them discover their story. I think that can be just as effective as telling your own story. Of course, you can share your own story. Just remember to keep it compliant. And the reason I suggested back in 2008 that the company go direct selling is because I saw a fabulous product that nobody was talking about. All I did was recommend that they take it from the retail shelf and put it in an environment where it was word of mouth, right? So you still have the freedom to share word of mouth, but be careful when it becomes cut and paste, when it becomes posting on social media. That's not word of mouth in the traditional way. And you have to be careful there because people have services that they use to search through that, and they search for keywords. And I wanted to introduce you to something on keywords in just a minute, but I wanted to start out with that kind of a hello, welcome to LifeVantage. I'm excited. I have a personal story that's true and personal. And after I help you discover what's interesting to you, we can both talk about our stories. So if you watch that ABC primetime, you have the reaction that I did, then you're going to want to know more. And I'm going to show you how to go someplace to discover that for yourself. Any questions on that to this point? Good. One of the things I'm trying to do, if I'm going to share, if I can, let's see, am I able to share? Can I, Debbie, are you the host?
I'm the co-host.
If you're a co-host, somebody needs to give me permission to share my screen, because right now I don't have that.
Hey, Sam or Vandy, please make Eric a co-host, please. Hold on a second. Maybe I can make you, hold on.
I'm not sure I can because somebody brought me
Because
in.
we're co-host, right? Yeah. So
Might
let
need
me
to
just-
be the host.
He's a
yes,
co-host.
yes.
He's good now.
Okay, cool.
Okay, let's go on. Oh yeah, here I am. Okay.
First, perfect.
Now the reason I've been drawing out this introduction a little bit is because when I was updating this piece that I was going to share with you tonight, it froze. It's in circular heaven. So it's a little fuzzy, and that's okay because we can send this out to you. In fact, what I'm going to suggest you do is, if you're interested in what we're talking about, you want these materials, if you'll just email compliance@lifevantage.com and in the subject line put training, then we will send you this material. And in addition, there's something I'm not going to show you tonight that we'll also send you. And that is going to be at the, if you drop by the compliance corner at Global, you notice we had a 3-minute animation video there that's really nice. It's fun and it's informative. We'll send you that as well. So again, if you're interested in these materials and in the animation video, to review and become compliance certified. And if you've been compliance certified before, you can do it again, and you can enter drawings every time. We go every so often, then we put everybody that's entered the last little bit and we put them into a drawing. We're going to have a drawing for all of those that came by the booth at Compliance Corner. We're going to have a drawing the end of this week, or no, it is the end of this week, the end of next week, for everyone that attended. We're going to put everybody in a raffle and draw names and for prizes. So we do that every month or every quarter, depending on the participation we get. And so when you ask for this information and we send it to you and you complete it, in other words, you watch the video and you go in and certify, then you're entered into a drawing. But the more valuable part is you get this information. So if you look closely, and I'm going to try to make it a little larger. Oh, I can't even do that. Let's see, maybe I can. But this no. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to another. Yeah, it's not letting me do anything any better than what's happening here. So I'm going to do what I can. And again, you can get this information. If you can't see it, just follow along and I'll explain what's here. Can you see the words in red here?
Yes.
And then there are highlights in yellow.
We can't see them well, but.
And then there are highlights in green.
Yep.
Okay, at the top, the reason this froze is because I was putting up the colors in a code: stop, pause, and go. So when you go down the left-hand column, this is what we call an opportunity coaching card. There are 22 words and phrases that the regulators look for in their robots, in their search engines. They look for these 22 words and phrases, and when they find them, you're flagged. Now, fortunately, we have a service that goes out and does that first. So if you ever get a notice from us, be thankful, because we found you before the FTC did. And so, with the words and phrases on opportunity, not product, but opportunity, there are 22 words and phrases. And right here, we're dealing with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 of them are right here, right? Can you see that 6-figure income? 6 with the number figure income, full-time, replacement, career level, guaranteed, life-changing. Those are the stop. You don't want to say those words or phrases, because those are the words and phrases they're looking for. Then you go over to the yellow and it describes what this card is about. How much income? 6-figure, full-time, replacement, career level, top 5%. They all answer, how much income are we talking about? And the regulators want us to talk about the typical income somebody can make, not the atypical. So the top 1%, we can't talk about without huge disclaimers, but the 98% we can talk about. So the 98% is right here. What we've done is you can talk about, when you talk about how much income, you talk about supplemental income. Can you see supplemental where I'm circling it right here?
Yeah.
So supplemental is in green. That means go. So red means stop, yellow means look, and green means go. And so you can talk about supplemental income till you turn old like me. And here are some examples in green that we've lined up for you. Buy and consume the products that will make a difference in your life, and you're a pro one. This actually are examples when you're reviewing the comp plan, and you'll have your own examples. In fact, when we send this out to you, if you can think of examples you'd like us to use, send them in to us. We'd like to put them in. In fact, we'd like to keep a pages of examples to hand out to people, those that don't, that need some help maybe making up examples. This is when you're using the comp plan, which most of you do in your presentations, right? You go through Pro 1, Pro 3, Pro 5, Pro whatever. This is what you can do with the compensation plan explanation. Or if extemporaneously you just want examples, we bought the largest big screen TV in the store. You don't make the largest big screen TV in the store because you're a millionaire. You do that because you have some extra income. You have some supplemental income. That's a legitimate and appropriate claim. You can make that claim. So again, we've highlighted 10 no-nos in red. We've given you some reading to understand the education between typical and atypical. And then we've given you supplemental, which is the key word here. The key green is supplemental income or extra income. In fact, when I'm through here and this unfreezes, I'm going to turn extra into green too.
I need to solve is Derek Parks. I want him to see my name on the list.
Hold on a second, Eric. Can you mute yourself, please? Otherwise, I'm gonna mute everybody. And we can you unmute yourself, Eric, please? I'm gonna mute everyone.
Okay, yeah.
Much better. Okay, cool. You may go ahead.
Okay, great, thank you. So here we have again, the red, the yellow, the green, just like a stoplight. Can't say, study and pause, and then this is what you can say, and let's just fill the room with what you can say. Supplemental or extra income. You can talk, because that is typical. That is not atypical. And that's what the regulators want us to do more, is they want us to talk about what the typical person can anticipate, not what the extra super great guru can do. We'll have something for them too, but for right now, we're just talking about the typical, okay? So this page, this page goes here and then it goes over to the right and still more green. So this is where the examples expire. And this is what we call the first card, what we call the how much income coaching card. So you can, what you're looking at tonight is the master. It includes 5 cards, but you can divvy them up to where they're each separate cards if you want to do it that way. Okay, so this from here over here to here is 1 card, and it should fit on 1 page. Then we go down to the second topic, which is status with supplemental income. And you're going to recognize, what does status mean? What is my status or lifestyle because of the supplemental or extra income? Am I retired? Am I rich? No, you're not rich. You're not retired. You don't have financial freedom because, again, the federal government, the regulators want us to talk about the typical. This is not typical. Can you dream about it? You bet. Can you think about it? That's right. But when you're recruiting, when you're talking to people, you cannot use these words because these are the words and phrases that they use in their searches. So what we've done is said, instead of saying rich, retirement, financial freedom, stay at home, say result of supplemental income, and use the following examples. I bought that motorcycle that I always wanted. We were able to take the vacation that we wanted. I'm in charge of that aspect of my life. I breathe easier at the end of the month. Those are the results of supplemental or extra income. Very compliant, very compliant. So in a color code, you have what you can't say, and we've added to the 10 words here. Now we have up to 15 words and phrases, and then what you can say. And you've all recognized the words I'm using, haven't you? You've seen financial freedom, you've seen stay at home, you've seen top 5% or 6-figure income, you've seen all of that. Now, oh, I'm still frozen. So the problem is I go on to other, let me see if I can, I'm going to get out of this and see if I can't come back. I'm going to restart the program, okay? And then we're going to come back in and I'll finish this presentation. Are there any questions to this point in the presentation?
Go ahead, you guys. If you have questions, don't be shy.
Or are they muted?
This is super, super important. I wish I'd had this kind of training 9 years ago. Would have saved a lot of hardship and arguments and everything else.
I agree. I agree. Okay, I'm going to go back to that. Now you're going to be here and the colors are going to be different. No, the colors are the same, but this is a little bit different format, okay? But you can see it more clearly, can't you?
Yes.
Yes.
So here are the stop, don't say these. Here's the education. Remember, we need to be typical, not atypical. And the 1%ers, pro 5s and better, the 1%ers, we're going to give you what you can say specifically to you, but this is for the masses, okay? And the key word here is supplemental. Instead of saying all of these, just refer to it as supplemental. And then here are examples of using supplemental with the comp plan. And here are examples of supplemental with just extemporaneously doing it. And again, I'll send this out to all of you. You'll have it color coded. This is so good now that you're taking pictures, I can see. Okay, so we go down to the end of this one. And by the way, there's some claims that are so outrageous that the regulators say there's no way you can justify those. And that is quit your job, be set for life, realize unlimited income. And just note that, okay? Just don't say these things. Why? Because they say that that is extraordinary income. And you can talk about the typical, and you can even talk about some of the atypical, but you can't talk about the unbelievable. Oh, fair? Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's move on to the next card. Remember, these cards, this card would separate right here, and then this next section right here would be another card. And that talks about the ones we talked about: rich, retirement, freedom, financial freedom, stay at home. Those are the words they have in their robots. We're not rich, we're comfortable, we're stress-free. So you can talk about the results of supplemental income. And I'm going to complement result of supplemental income with stress-free, those kinds of things that we can say, okay? But in green, here are examples. This was a review. Now let's go on to the third card. The third card is entitled, What Type of Income? And this is something I congratulate all of you. No one says passive or residual anymore, okay? Thank you. No one says passive or residual. These are two words that the regulators look for right here. The reason you can't say those words is because they're not accurate. Let's read through the education here. This is good. What type of income is it? How is the revenue generated? Is it passive income generated from an investment of money, stocks, bonds, real estate, or royalties from a movie, video, or book? No, it is income generated when I personally consume the products, then sell product to others who consume them and want to sell too. So that is passive income. To use what we do to make money as passive income, the reason the regulators don't like it is because it's inaccurate. It's not a definition of how we make income. We make income not through passive or residual. Residual doesn't mean anything but what's left over. Residual is totally inaccurate. So that's not, you shouldn't be using that at all, because residual income is not a type of income, but a calculation determining how much discretionary money an individual or entity could spend after paying their bills. It's what's left over. So don't use passive or residual. What do you want to use? Leveraged. How many of you have seen leveraged? You want to, and everybody uses leverage. Congratulations, everybody's buying into this. And here are some examples. How do you say it? I only win when others sell products to everyone they know. I only win when others win. When members of my team are successful, I am successful. This is called leveraged income. It's making money through the efforts of others. That's accurate and it's compliant. Okay. So let's go on to the next level. And you're recognizing these phrases. I just categorize them in what they mean rather than have them all scattered out. Does that help?
Yes.
So we're moving on to the next category of words. And this is fire your boss, quit, duplication, momentum, ground floor. And by the way, I know that some charts have always shown ground floor. I would change those to first step or beginning, something like that, rather than ground floor. Ground floor is one of those phrases that the regulators search for in their robots. So what do I need to do to succeed? Nothing, because duplication or momentum will make it happen through no effort of my own. That's not accurate. No. Quit my job or college? No. Fire my boss? No. I need to work hard and be coachable. So the approved claims are working hard and being coachable. When I watch the presentations of any one of you that talk about how you're successful at this business, you all include those two criteria: working hard and being coachable. Some of you don't say coachable, you say being teachable. But isn't that what we say? That's compliant. You can say those words. And so here are examples of those. We have the very best products ever. I really believe in them, but just believing isn't enough. I need to work hard and be teachable to reach as many people as possible. I am so frustrated. Nobody knew about these products, these fabulous products. We all need to take advantage of this tremendous opportunity to improve everyone's lifestyle. There's nothing that we can do with there's nothing we can't do with the right attitude and working hard. And again, I'm just pulling up what I took off your posts. So here it is, but I didn't make them up. You did. I just put them together. And then the last area we cover is disclaimer. Disclaimers are important, and you'll see us, and you're going to see us working more and more with sales on disclaimers, because the better the disclaimer you use, the more you can say. Because disclaimers protect us. They don't protect us from contradictions. In other words, you can't say something bold that's untrue and non-compliant and then have a disclaimer below. No, the disclaimer cannot contradict the post. But it can allow you to say something that you otherwise couldn't say. What do I mean? Let's go down to when you use images and photos, prizes, incentives, images, photos, opulent mansions, private helicopters, private jets, yachts, exotic automobiles. You can't use those photos. What can you do? Images and photos should be typical, accurate, and truthful representations of what the average reasonable person should expect. So what do we recommend? State in terms of average, regular, and typical. And examples include whenever presenting and just include the average car. Don't do a Mercedes, do a Honda Civic or a Honda Accord. I have a Honda Accord, that's average. So stay away from the bold descriptions because they're the 1%. They're not typical. But you can use average, regular, and typical. Now, for instance, when I reviewed a lot of the videos for My Life Venture at Global, we didn't do that this time, but the next time we're going to have a disclaimer that says, of our 50,000 distributors worldwide, a number of percentage hardworking distributors achieve this incentive. And it can either be My Life Venture or it could even be a trip, okay? If appropriate, explain the qualifications to win. For example, to participate in the My Life Venture program, a distributor must achieve the rank of Elite Pro 7, 100,000 OV, and maintain that rank for 6 consecutive months. So you're going to see when we do My Life Venture going in the future, you're going to see this disclaimer at the beginning of all those My Life Venture. And that means you can do the My Life venture on your own if you use this kind of disclaimer. Earnings, claims, actual or hypothetical. You know, when you do the hypothetical, hey, suppose you recruit 3 and they recruit 3 and you 5 or 5 or 7 or 7. You do the hypothetical or the actual. The disclaimer is a statement or declaration that provides the substantiation for a claim. In other words, it proves that the claim is typical. Substantiation helps make a claim accurate and not misleading, as required by state and federal laws and regulations and the LifeVantage policies and procedures. What is the purpose of a disclaimer? Including a disclaimer assists the presenter create the correct net impression when making a claim. Net impression is the takeaway a reasonable person would have from the words, images, and context of a message. So just remember that claims not only are words, claims can be pictures, they can be words, they can be cartoons, or they can be a combination of all 3. And all 3 create a net impression. And you have to use the appropriate disclaimer for the reasonable person to walk away with the typical. Now, you're gonna see this used more and more and more by LifeVantage itself, and you'll be educated on how to use this kind of disclaimer. Okay. We would suggest, not right now, but we're suggesting down the road that you use this kind of disclaimer when you do talk about hypotheticals, when you're going over the comp plan and you're going through, or not just the comp plan, because that's the chart, but when you're using a diagram that says if you do 3 or if you do 5, you know, the 3 multiples or the 5 multiples, when you do that kind of thing, this is the kind of disclaimer that you need to use there. And you'll see the company start to use these appropriately, and you can just imitate what we do. And then just the others are a little technical, but I just want you to know that when you have atypical learnings, you can still state atypical learnings. You just need to use the right kind of success disclaimer. When you saw global, this success disclaimer was on every presentation. Now, what we're trying to do is make it to where instead of using this big one, sometimes we can use, when they do a dollar amount, we can do a smaller one or a winners. Like for a smaller one, earnings, let's say if you're talking about a specific, I made $3,000 a month last year. Our average distributor made $1,700 a year in LifeVantage 2020. Now you say 1,700, that's not a lot. Well, believe me, in this business, when you take all of the distributors and you have 1,700 as your average, that's good. We're 2 or 3 times bigger than what most people are. So if you put this disclaimer in 2020, the typical income earned by LifeVantage was $1,700, and then hook that to the average earnings disclosure, then you can talk about specific money you're making, and it's compliant. And we'll teach you how to do that. Don't you worry about that. We'll teach you how to use these, okay? But would you mind having this in your hands so that as you're developing material, you can review this, and if you have questions, you can certainly call me or anybody on my team. I'm training my team with this material too. We're doing it heavy in the next week or 2. And then winners, the winners of incentives. The worst thing that happens when we're watching the convention and people get up and they talk about the trips they were given, it's disheartening because it's wonderful that you got a trip, but it wasn't given to you necessarily freebie. You had to earn that. You qualified for the trip. And again, the regulators don't want us to be misleading. So all we're saying is, of the 50,000 active LifeVantage distributors, approximately 100 earn a company incentive trip of this kind. That's it. We just put that there. And it's not the whole green. It's just from here to here. Of the 50,000 active LifeVantage distributors, approximately 80 earn company incentive trip or earn this incentive trip. So that lets us talk about the wonderful trips we have, and it's all compliant. And that's basically it. Any questions? A lot here, right?
Yes,
Is this a good thing?
absolutely. You've covered
Absolutely.
a lot.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, as I was developing this, I had the confidence that I knew what I was doing.
We're
Wouldn't
glad
you?
that you do because it's certainly needed.
Yeah, and I want to give you, you can certainly ask us and we'll review things and we'll give you hints all we want, but you have the opportunity to learn yourself so that not only you know and you have confidence, but you can teach those that you work with so they have the confidence too. Compliance should not stop things. Compliance should help things grow healthy. And we all want to grow healthy, right?
Right. I think earlier when I was first learning about compliance, all I heard was what we can't say.
Yeah.
And now you're giving us things that we can say and that we can plug into, but it's going to be up to us to sit down, study this. I mean,
Yes.
you have spent your life studying what we can and can't do. You've
Yes.
got it compiled in one place.
Yes.
We just need to spend the time to look at it and
Yeah.
put it into our vocabulary.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, this is a wonderful opportunity. Don't stop doing anything right now. Keep doing what you're doing. And if you have a question, call me or send me something. We'll be happy to review it and get back to you. But learn this too, so that you have a sense of independence, and then you can be creative. Yeah, because it's not hard. Again, on opportunity, there aren't 150 diseases or 200 diseases like there is with product. With opportunity, there are 22 words and phrases. 22 words and phrases, and we have dealt with each one of them here. Now that gives me confidence.
Yes, and you've told us what we can say.
Yes,
And I appreciate that because
Yep.
I just knew in the beginning was, oh, we can't say that. I don't know. Again, you get to where you don't want to do it
say
wrong.
anything. Yeah.
So this is great for you to combine this. It's taken, I know, countless hours and meetings for you guys and understanding, what's legal and not. And
Yeah.
I so appreciate everything that you've done. And I know when I start a new distributor now, I know where I'm starting. It has been compliant for me in the last 6-7 years, but I know it isn't for everybody. But this is
That's
something
right.
people can take a look at and
That's right.
read.
Debbie,
You put so much
Yeah.
in the back office for us. As all of this is under. You go into back office
yes.
to
Yes,
the
and
library.
Yeah, and this
At the
won't
very
be
top
here.
of the page is
Yes.
compliance. It's not products, it's compliance.
That's right. And we'll be adding this. Marketing needs to make it pretty. And when they make it pretty, then we'll put this in the back office too. But you can still get this. Again, if you will, email compliance@lifevantage.com. In the subject line, put training. We will send you an animation video that goes 3 minutes and you can watch that. You can get a compliance certification and you'll get these materials.
Awesome.
Okay.
When I was
So-
at Global, I went through the 3 minutes and it was very good.
Yeah, it's entertaining, isn't it? And fun. Yeah.
It is. It's fun.
Yeah. Great.
Debbie, I have a request or a question to
Yes.
Eric.
Yes.
I want to kick off. Hi, Eric. Thank you so much for being here. What an outstanding comprehensive guideline that you are about to add to our compliance corner back at the back office in the library. We look
Yes.
forward to having this. But guys, as you heard, you can request this in advance so that you have this weapon, you have this armor to protect yourselves, to protect your team in order to follow this guideline. If you are compliant, then you'll never go wrong, okay? Eric, so the question is, kindly explain to our viewers, why is LifeVantage very, very conservative and very, very careful in following the guidelines of the regulatory team? Because sometimes they get irked like, oh my God, we can't say anything anymore.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? You
Yeah.
hear that a lot,
That's
whether
right.
they're elites or not, I'm telling you guys, Eric and their compliance team, they will catch our attention no matter what your rank is. They because they are protecting our company. So if you can just explain to them that you are for us, you're not against us, you're just protecting our lives, livelihood.
And two things there. Number one, you're right. What we're doing is we're educating you on what the FTC and FDA are looking for. And they have shut down in our industry. Not only have they shut down companies in the last 3 or 4 years, they have sued individuals. They have sued individual distributors. And so the federal government is getting more and more autocratic, in my opinion. And so what we're doing is we're trying to, I belong to the Direct Selling Association. They're back in Washington, D.C. They're kind of a lobbying arm for the industry. And they communicate as often as they can with the FTC. In fact, at a seminar I went to last week, we had 3 former commissioners for the FTC attending that meeting, and we talked to them for an hour. And they told us, listen, there are words and phrases that you simply cannot use because they're either atypical and they're misleading or they're just false, okay? So identify those words and phrases. If we were you, we would monitor your field so that you can get a hold of them before someone else finds them. So if you ever get a letter from our group, it's because our service has these keywords too, and they do searches continuously. And then they give us heads up and we send you a letter, not because we don't like you, but because this service before the regulator has found what you posted and they've given us a heads up. So we're giving you a heads up. So we get it removed. And so that's number one. The regulators mean it because they're saying, in fact, a couple of weeks ago, they sent out 700 letters to the likes of Chevron and Apple because they were misrepresenting endorsements that they had. Now that's a little different category than what we have, but it means that they're serious and they're active. So we are a protection to you. But secondarily, rather than be the police, see us as protectors and see us as coaches. See us as your coaches in the compliance area so that we can coach you. We can get out to you and talk to you, or we can respond to you, but we're your coaches with compliance. Help us work with you so that we can all grow safely and healthy. And so that's my point. The regulators are there. Let us protect you and let us coach and work with you.
Perfect.
Wow, thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. I know it was a few years ago when I realized, well, probably 5 or 6 years ago, that this opportunity could be taken away from us if we didn't treat it correctly.
That's right.
And then, you know, when I tried to talk with some people, it would be like, how would you feel if you could never have buy another NRF2?
Yeah. Yeah. Or with Advocare, what they did was they took their ability to be a multi-level marketing company. They only let them have one level. So it's themselves and one other level.
Wow.
And so that's what happened to them. And they also had distributors sued as well as company executives. So it's a serious business, and it's not so serious to us because we've been prudent and we're creating tools, we're training, and we're coaching and working with you so that we can, again, grow healthy and big.
Thank you.
Yes. Additionally, Debbie, if you don't mind, Eric, can you explain to our audience, is it more riskier for a publicly traded company between privately traded company and privately held? Does the federal feds treats every network marketing the same, or are we more kind of like riskier because we are publicly traded companies, so therefore we must be more careful?
Well, yeah, both. They're serious about everyone. We are more sensitive because as a public company, we have shareholders. And so it doesn't just, and most of us are shareholders too, but we have shareholders that we need to protect. So yes, they assume that a public company is more astute, they're more professional, they're better prepared. So although they go after everyone, yeah, you have to think that, hey, if they can get a big public company, why not? That would be a feather in their cap.
And another question, sorry guys, just
No.
prepare your question. Okay, I have a carpal tunnel before, and when I found NRF2, when I took it, less than 30 days, I actually canceled my surgery because my carpal tunnel, like pains and my carpal tunnel is gone syndrome.
Yes.
So
yes.
how do I, well, if I were, back then, hey, it healed, it cured my carpal tunnel.
Yes.
So
yes.
what is the best word to present to, like, to them? Like, this is actually the reason why I also, got interested with LifeVantage, because of the improvement of
What
my
happened?
carpal tunnel or
Yeah.
something like that. Can you?
Yeah. First of all, let's back up a little bit. And this is product. And by the way, what we've done with opportunity and income, we're going to do with product too. So give us 2 months and we'll have something out very
On the
clear on
product.
this as well. Yeah. But remember that even though it's personal and true, because we are involved in commerce, it is illegal for us to make certain claims. And we cannot make a disease claim because we are not a drug company. And we don't want to be a drug company, because if we were, we'd have all these huge expenses to do these studies and keep up on different things. We are the best of both worlds. We have those independent studies already. So let's not abuse them. We can use them appropriately, but I would do this, Kai. Again, first of all, let's back up a little bit. Word of mouth is just that, word of mouth. If you're talking to somebody on the street and you know them, tell your story. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just when you're posting something that people will see, anyone. And remember, the biggest problem we had in Australia today was we had a group of 6 people on a closed Facebook account, and one of them got angry at the other 5. And they reported the group to their equivalent of the FDA. That's the most serious problem we've had in Australia. So remember, the size doesn't necessarily matter. So, but the familiarity, if you're with somebody, you can talk as you do your friend, your family. But when you're beyond friend and family, then you need to be compliant, and you cannot make a disease claim. You cannot make it explicitly. You cannot make it implicitly. You just have to. And again, how I would do it is say, this is a marvelous product. It has tremendous results. And if you want to know the extent of those results, here's what I would do. I would go to PubMed, where a lot of these things are gathered professionally and very credibly. And I would put in NRF2 plus oxidative stress and see what you find, see what interests you, and then get back to me and we'll talk. And then you've been very compliant. You've certainly gotten their interest, especially if you've watched the video beforehand. And then you're going to get back and talk safely in a safe zone. And that's going to be fine. Then you can share your stories. But before that, you can't state or imply that our products diagnose, treat, cure, mitigate a disease or a symptom of a disease. That's just the law. And we'll help you a little bit more with this. Just remember, don't say the word disease. Don't say the word disease. Don't say the word medicine or medical. Disease, medical, or any diseases. And the reason that's going to be a little more difficult than this one is because there are hundreds of diseases alone. So we'll categorize those all in diseases. But we're also going to talk about, what can you do with pain? What can you do with sleep? What can you do with inflammation? What can you do? We're pretty clear on that now. We're going to be even more clear on that in a couple of weeks. Okay. So in the meantime, ask us. We'll give you the clarification on the products, but just stay away from diseases. Yeah.
Thank you. Back to you, Deb.
One thing I wanted to say, I know when I took a look at this, I had a lot of people approach me, and being an equine PT, I was always out in front of large groups of people, and they always wanted me to sell something. And I said, look, I do therapy for a living. I don't want to sell something, but I'll look at it because I'm always looking for something to help people. And when I looked at this, it was just another thing to look at that I didn't expect to see any science to it. First thing I did was go to PubMed. And because there was something on PubMed, that was what excited me, not the stranger that told me, that was telling me about his dog and about all of these other things that were going on. That it sounded great, but people tell me that stuff all the time. If it's not in a science situation, I don't believe it.
Right.
So there's a lot of people out there that they don't realize that our products work the way they do, that it's crazy.
Yeah.
And it really does work. And sometimes we just sound like a salesman when we're just going on and on about some kind of
Right.
miracle
Right.
that happened, and they don't believe us. So we have the science, let's use it.
That's the best closing statement I've heard. We've got great stuff. Let's use it.
Well, I think we're about to wrap it up. Number one, I want to thank you. We went way over, but there's so much information here. I really appreciate it. And I know I've got a page of notes. Grateful for all that you put down on paper for us that we'll be getting in an email form. And I just cannot tell you how much it means for you to come and spend this kind of time on a late evening. And I'm sure, you had something better to do, but we appreciate you being with us.
Thank you. Just one thing, being with my wife, that is better. Okay. But it has to be her or it wouldn't be better.
Okay.
Okay.
And we have one other
Okay.
announcement, and
Okay.
that is if everybody can please wish Vandy Flake a happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
Yes.
Vandy.
Happy
Type in the
birthday.
comment section below. And
Happy
let's send
birthday,
some
Vandy.
loving.
Woo!
Give
Happy
some loving
birthday,
to Eric.
Vandy.
Thank you very much,
Happy
Eric. And
birthday.
Thank
happy
you,
Yes.
Kai.
birthday,
Thank you for the
Vandy.
invitation.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you.
Eric, that was awesome.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much for your time. We
Thank you,
appreciate
Kai.
you.
Thank
Thank
you
you for
for the
everything that you
invitation.
do to support us.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Kai.
Thank you, everyone.
Happy
Thank you,
birthday,
everyone.
We love you.
Vandy.
Thank you,
everybody.
Debbie.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Eric.